What's up, friends? Welcome into another episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. So happy to have you aboard for this episode of the 3Ts. I am your host, TB. Thank you all very much for stopping in and checking out the show. We have so much to get to. Don't want to waste much time. I know we have a game to review, but Wrestling Marks, how are you feeling? You are up first because first we need to discuss the huge announcement made last Friday. If you have not seen this, Triple H, with an entourage of WWE superstars standing behind him, including Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul. Triple H in all his glory made the announcement that in 2027, WrestleMania 43 will be held in Saudi freaking Arabia. That's right. If you've listened to some of my previous episodes, you know how I love talking about the Saudi shows. Well, get ready, folks, because this is the granddaddy of them all. Now it's heading to Saudi freaking Arabia. So Triple H introduces his quote-unquote friend, his excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know, something to that effect. He then goes on to announce the news. And if you are not sure how to feel about this, all you need to do is watch this press conference. It's about 20 minutes long. Look at the faces of the wrestlers that are actually standing behind him on the stage. In the camera shot, mind you, as he's talking about how awesome this deal is, look at the faces of the wrestlers. It was unbelievable. And if you were on social media, you were seeing snapshots of close-ups of these superstars. And it looked pretty bad. Charlotte, I thought she wanted to kill him or at least put him in the figure four leg lock. Seth Rollins, who was wearing his, ridiculous Seth Rollins sunglasses, he's looking straight ahead the whole time. He is never smiling. He never turns his head. He's never paying attention to anything. It's like he's staring himself off into space, wishing he were somewhere else. It's absolutely crazy. Shawn Michaels, he looks like he's asleep. He's got his standard cowboy hat on. And he looks like he straight up does not care and wants to be anywhere else but where they are right then and there. Liv is the only one on stage who actually smiles, and I figure, well, that's because she's always smiling. So even Logan Paul, you could tell he's got this look on his face like, what the hell is going on? It was kind of a disaster. So this was live streamed, and the comments as this presentation is taking place were not so nice. So you hear the comments sell out over and over again, and that's probably one of the kindest things that was said, but this comment was echoed over and over and over again through the entire stream. People were very, very unhappy. At the time of when I last looked, there were probably 32,000 thumbs down of the videos, which is a lot. That's a lot of people. People were and are still very ticked off about this. So they do this god-awful press conference, and they're trying to hype up how awesome this is, and they're claiming that it's going to drive up American tourism. Oh yeah? You think having WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia is going to drive up American tourism? Tell me. I want to know how this is going to go down. Tell me who the hell is going to go to this. Now, historically, a lot of American fans, a lot of Canadian fans, a lot of European fans make the trek every year. They save up their hard-earned dollars and they put together a wrestling plan, a wrestling vacation, and it's usually designed around WrestleMania. I want to know who in America, tell me who is going about planning a family vacation to Saudi Arabia, and how are you actually going about doing this? I would love to know the logistics, what the preparation is to ensure not only you get over there, but that you get back to the States safely. I would love to know how this is getting put together. Don't talk to me about how the goal is to drive American tourism to Saudi Arabia. I actually heard that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't think of a single person that is going to want to travel to Saudi freaking Arabia to watch WrestleMania. Ain't no way in hell that's ever going to happen. So they do this press conference, and then later on, the rumors of what the payout was start to sneak out, right? And so you're hearing rumors that for WrestleMania alone, mind you, this is WrestleMania 43, just over, a year and a half from now? So April, end of March, beginning of April in 2027. The cost that we're hearing, $250 million the Saudis paid to host WrestleMania 43. $250. How we all feel about that? I can't even do If Money Were No Object because that's just ridiculous. I mean, we're not even in the same galaxy. $250 million. And then the number 100 million came out, and that is the number that was floated as to what they paid for the Royal Rumble, which is happening, in January of 2026. I talked about this in another episode a while back, how it must have slipped my mind or I must have missed it, and they kind of slid it into a presentation or a PLE, pay-per-view, whatever the hell they're called, about how the next Royal Rumble was in Saudi, and I lost my freaking mind. So imagine what I'm thinking when I see this presentation, this huge announcement the WWE makes. Now, there were rumors that this is what in fact it was going to be, and yep, they just destroyed everyone's Friday and their weekend. Obviously it didn't wreck my weekend, but you know what I'm saying. They made this announcement, and all the rumors were true, and now 250 for WrestleMania and 100 for Royal Rumble, so $350 million Saudi Arabia has paid the WWE to host probably their two biggest events. Oh, it's so frustrating. And this is going to be the first time WrestleMania will be held outside of North America. If you remember, WrestleMania has been in Toronto twice before. You had WrestleMania 6, and this is what really put me on the map as a wrestling fan. Back when I was a kid, we had Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. It's one of my favorites of all time. That was in Toronto. And then it also went to Toronto for WrestleMania 18. We just talked about this match during the Hulk Hogan episode. WrestleMania 18, it wasn't a main event, but it might as well should have been, because The Rock versus Hulk Hogan in Skydome, and that match was awesome. There have been a lot of rumors over the last few years that WrestleMania could be moved outside of the U.S., and it was always thought, based on the fan bases, that maybe UK, somewhere in England, maybe London. It's done historically very well over there, so they were thinking, the rumor mill, obviously, that London was a huge possibility. Paris, they just had a hugely successful pay-per-view right there with Clash in Paris, and they have good fans. They have really good fans. Historically, WWE does really well over there. But no, they jumped over all these European cities. They went right into a much bigger pile of money. All I can think about as I'm trying to put the notes for this show together is the old Uncle Scrooge McDuck picture where he's diving off the diving board into his silo of coins, and there's coins flying everywhere. That's all I can think about is, what have we done? Have we sold our soul to the devil, if you will? I mean, I want to say that I couldn't believe it, but I could believe it. It just made me kind of very upset, very, very sad. And if I'm being completely honest, the writing has kind of been on the wall since TKO has taken over and bought out the WWE, since they entered into this business relationship, if you will. I mean, you all know how I feel about certain things that are happening in the wrestling world with the advertisements. I mean, before this, there was no advertising everywhere. There was no prime drink display at ringside. There were no turnbuckle ads. There were no Fireball whiskey ladders. And there sure as hell have never been any Slim Jim table spots. And now TKO takes over. All the advertising is everywhere. And lo and behold, slowly but surely, we're selling off one pay-per-view after another to the highest freaking bidder. And you know, it's pretty sad. If I'm being completely honest, it's pretty sad. Now, I know Saudi Arabia has been heavily involved in other international sports organizations, other sports leagues. This is not lost on me. So please don't misunderstand me. I'm not naive to the fact that Saudi has become a huge influence in global sports. I get that. They have spent billions upon billions to grab parts of soccer, boxing, tennis. The whole live golf get was ridiculous. That caused a huge fiasco at the PGA, and now it seems like they're all getting along. And it's just, what are we doing? And I know I'm getting into F1, so I'm not naive to think that F1 isn't huge over there. They have a track in Saudi Arabia, but this, People, this is WrestleMania. This is the largest event on the entire WWE calendar. If you want to keep having Super Showdowns, if you want to keep having Crown Jewel, once in a while you want to send them, Money in the Bank or maybe a Survivor Series or something like that. I was super ticked off when I heard it was Royal Rumble, and I kind of got over that because a while back they did the Super Royal Rumble or whatever the hell they called it, the world's largest Royal Rumble, and they had, 800 people in their stupid Saudi Royal Rumble. That Royal Rumble was terrible, by the way. But you want to give them some of these, and maybe one or two shows a year they have whatever. And historically, the Saudis have paid $50 million for one of these shows. 50. So you think, well, that seems like a hell of a lot of money. Well, no, we're going to double it for Rumble, and then we're going to, holy crap, knock this out of the park and pay you $250 for WrestleMania. But my point is, we've gone too far. WrestleMania? I mean, this is like taking our Super Bowl for football. Let's say my team, the Bills, we're on the 3 T's here. Let's say the Bills play Detroit in the Super Bowl. So you have two rabid fan bases that are like going crazy. Oh my gosh, our teams are finally in the Super Bowl. One of these franchises has a chance to actually put one on the board. And we move it. Roger Goodell sells the game to Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine Bills Lions in Saudi Arabia? Oh my God. What the hell do you think the fan base in America would do to that? But it's okay because it's wrestling. And I'm just like, oh, this is not okay. And I'm already hearing the counter argument. Well, this is how the Saudis are going to get these mega dream matches we've always wanted. And I'm like, what matches? They did this before with the Crown Jewel and the Super Showdowns where they paid ungodly amounts of money to have Goldberg and Undertaker. Oh, do we remember how that match played out? If you don't, please go back at my podcast featuring one of my favorites of all time, Bill Goldberg, and listen to how those terrible matches went down. They paid ungodly amounts of money for freaking Bill Goldberg, and those matches were terrible. So tell me what matches we want to see, because the Saudis are just going to open their pocketbooks, open their wallets, and drop 25 million at these retired wrestlers that we are clamoring to come back. Who do we want? Tell me, what dream matches are we possibly missing? Unless they can pull a magic rabbit out of their ass. There's like AEW isn't merging with the WWE for one magical night in Saudi Arabia. There's no matches I want to see. I don't want to see Undertaker come back. I don't want to see Shawn Michaels come back. Everyone's clamoring for Stone Cold. I want to watch Stone Cold on his farm with his badass cats, as he calls them, and doing cool stuff and fixing up the farm. I don't want to see him get paid $25 million and then go over to Saudi Arabia to wrestle some jobber for 7 minutes, drop a couple stunners, and drink beer for 5 minutes. Are you kidding me? Like, we got to stop with this nonsense, this nostalgia act. And I love the nostalgia act, but I like watching nostalgia acts as they happen, like back in the 90s. Don't give me 65-year-old washed up wrestlers and tell me that this is going to be a dream match. No freaking thank you. I mean, unless you're going to somehow pull Hogan versus Andre back from the dead and put this match on at WrestleMania 43, I'm not interested. I am not interested. Oh, the whole thing is super, super frustrating. So I don't know where you all stand, and that's not even getting into the way women's rights are treated over there and all kinds of stuff. Like, our women's wrestlers are some of the best on the planet, and it's super frustrating to hear these press conferences and the way they're talking about this great relationship between the WWE and the Saudis. Yeah, well, it's just because now you literally have money falling out of your pockets. That's the only reason you have these great relationships. So don't talk to me about how much you care about furthering, social justice and injustices and righting the wrongs of their society. That's not our business to do. And I don't want to get involved with any of that nonsense. We have such a lot of talented females, and it's frankly, if I were them, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but it's kind of insulting to continue to send people over there knowing some of the nonsense that country is dealing with. Oh, I had to start with that because The whole press conference drove me absolutely crazy. I can't believe we're doing it. I just absolutely cannot freaking believe it. But let's move on. Let's dive into SmackDown Friday night. The long-awaited return of Brock Lesnar and his promo. He kicked off the show. He came down, and I was like, oh, we're going to finally hear from Brock Lesnar. No, he doesn't even get a word out before he's interrupted by R-Truth, a.k.a. Ron Cena. And, normally I'm all about R-Truth doing the comedic act and back and forth, and it would have been good. This was not funny. Brock Lesnar pretended like he had no idea who R-Truth was, and they went back and forth for 5 minutes, saying the same lines. It was stupid until finally Lesnar hits him with the F5, and in the process splits his pants wide open in the back, and everyone got a huge kick out of it. Well, that was legitimately the best part of the whole segment. It was a waste of time. There was no Cena to be seen. Obviously, Cena's going to use this as fuel to come back next Saturday at WrestlePalooza and, try to get revenge for his buddy, Ron Cena. And I was just like, what are we doing? This is terrible. I want to hear why Brock Lesnar's back, why he actually wants to fight John Cena. Give me some story here. Obviously, I know the history between them. I know their matches. I know what's there. One of my favorites was when he absolutely beat the hell out of Cena at SummerSlam. That match, holy cow, that match was crazy because you never saw that coming. You never saw a beatdown of Cena like that before, and that match was legit. Here, why is he back? What are we doing? I would love to know before they get in the ring on Saturday. So what else happened? Champion Tiffany Stratton had a match versus Jade Cargill. They definitely cranked the tempo up on this one a bit, but I got to tell you, again, I try not to be critical of Jade. I've tried to give her some time to work some of the stuff out, but I feel like she's operating in molasses or something. I just feel like she's a step behind, a step off, a step ahead of whoever her partner is in the ring. There's just always like a delay. It's like I'm watching something on a bad signal because I feel like she's always a step behind. Nothing seems fluid. Nothing seems in sync with her partner, whoever she's going against. And I think Stratton was out there working her ass off. And I just felt like Stratton would do a cool move and then Jade would kind of do this hitch thing and it would be like a little hesitant. And I'm like, this is not smooth. Nothing looks natural with her. And I think that's my biggest problem. Nothing looks natural. So I got to tell you, folks, I'm kind of checked out on the whole Cargill experiment and the whole Stratton deal too. I don't know. I told you a couple weeks ago that I really want to see Stratton turn into a heel. I think she'd be really great at that. But in this match, she climbs to the top of the turnbuckle. Jade is on the floor on the outside. Stratton climbs to the top of the turnbuckle and then goes for a moonsault. I don't know whether Jade was supposed to catch her or what the case may be, but she literally lands the moonsault on her feet and immediately falls backwards and smashes the crap out of the back of her head. I'm like, oh my God, that was one of the nastiest hits to the back of the head I've ever seen. No one was there to catch her, nothing to break her fall. She landed on her feet, falls straight back and smashes the back of her head on the ground. It looked freaking nasty. I really hope she's okay. That was whack. I mean, holy cow. The match goes on. Jade does there's the ending. I don't know what they're doing. Stratton is on the outside barricade, kind of just hanging there. She's woozy. Here comes Jade trying to do this. You've seen this spot 1,000 times, right? With Roman Reigns or Braun Breaker or, used to be Braun Strowman, the spear through the barricade. Well, here comes Jade to do this spear. And she hesitates and then she it's terrible. It's terrible. And they go through the barricade and they kind of just fall there. And then the ref calls the match off. And I'm like, what just happened? This makes no sense at all. And then everyone's favorite heel, Nia Jax, comes out and it turns into a schmaz. And she's beating them both up. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Not Tiffany versus Nia for the billionth time. No freaking thank you. And side note, how are we feeling about Tiffany as the women's champ? Because I'm starting to get the feeling that this belt really isn't that big of a deal. In fact, if you ask me, the Intercontinental title that Becky Lynch is wearing or had stolen by AJ. I think that's the bigger belt right now. It's getting way more time, way more attention. The matches are better. She's elevating her opponents. And I just think that that's a much more important belt right now than any of the feuds Tiffany's had. And that sucks because she's the women's champ. But until Io hopefully gets the belt back, and I'm not really looking forward to her beating Stephanie Vaquer on Saturday, and we'll get into my match predictions here in a minute. But I love Io Sky. I think she is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Male, female, doesn't matter. I think she's one of the best. And I just think that they're rushing this match with Vaquer. Obviously, I'll just give you my prediction right now. I think Io wins that match. There's no way Stephanie's ready to have the other women's championship belt. There's just not. And so it'll be nice to have one of the main women's belts back on Io's waist. But Tiffany, I don't know. It's not doing anything for me. What else? Sami Zayn versus Rey Fenix was your high work rate match of the night. It looked like the U.S. Open Challenge. They're going to try to keep this going for a while. I'm hoping that Carmelo Hayes can get some momentum. I know what he's doing with The Miz. I kind of like it, but I want to see him elevated. We got to put him in some sort of title picture. And I think Carmelo versus Sami would be sick. So I want to see that. I want to see Carmelo get some wins, get some dubs, get some gold, because I think he is the future of the company. I would love to see him get some more run, get some gold, and see what he can do. Not sure if they're going to do that, but we shall see. Overall, the SmackDown show, I thought it was fine. It's fine. It's whatever. But today, I want to try to debut a brand new segment I came up with called You Got the Book. Now, I've been watching WWE for decades now. Obviously, I've talked about watching the Unreal show on Netflix, the documentary, the behind the curtain thing. I think I'm absolutely capable of writing a wrestling show, right? A booking angle or two. Yeah. So, I mean, why don't we see what we can come up with? Because, yeah, why not? Because some of these angles and stories I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I could do better than that. So let's start with the Jay and the Jimmy saga, right? We saw this play out on Monday night. Jay, LA Knight, LA Knight, some of you all are calling him LA Knight versus Jay. They kind of got into some backyard or backstage shenanigans, and then the night ends with Jay spearing LA Knight, and Jimmy's standing there looking at him like, what the hell did you just do? And so you get these seats planted. Obviously, Jimmy referred to Jay as, you're acting like Roman used to, and from the old OG bloodline angle there. And yeah, that would be cool. The title reign for Jay didn't work for me. I've said this a couple times now. It fell flat. I'm not sure he is your singles guy that you can just throw the title on, the main card title on, and that he can carry the company. I'm not sure of it, but this is the angle I want to run. So next Sunday, the Usos are reuniting to team up against the Braun and Braun twins, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. So here's how this goes down. You can't have the Braun and Braun twins lose. They're getting the upper hand. Who knows? Somebody else comes out to interfere. Maybe Paul Heyman gets involved somehow. Then the Usos start to get beat down. So LA Knight, he's kind of made up with Jay. He's still working with Jimmy. He comes down to make the save, and he helps them out. All of a sudden, you see a hooded figure come in through the crowd. As the Braun and Braun twins are running backstage after the LA Knight clears the ring, you see a hooded figure slide in, and he throws LA Knight in a chokehold, and he literally is strangling the LA Knight out. He knocks him out cold. LA Knight passes out in the middle of the ring. Jimmy gets up from the beatdown that he just suffered from Braun and Braun. Jay gets up too, and Jimmy's like, what is happening? What is happening? And then all of a sudden, Jay acts like he's going to save LA Knight, and instead you see him give a nice swift super kick to his brother. He knocks Jimmy out over the ring. LA Knight's in the ring, unconscious in the middle. The hooded figure stands up, unzips the hood, unzips the mask, and it's none other than Gunther. Because I want to see, after all their battles together, these two guys, Gunther and Jay Uso, combine, form a team. They now have mutual respect for each other, and Gunther is ready to help Jay become this ruthless heel. I want to see this, and you have built-in feuds right then and there. You can run LA Knight versus Jey Uso. You can run Jimmy versus Gunther. You can do LA versus Gunther. Oh, man, awesome. I want to see Jey be a total badass bad guy, and who else to help him? Who else to push him to the evil side and to be like this, just push him over the edge is like a maniacal heel that just is out to crush people. I love Gunther. I want to see him come back and team him up with somebody completely different, completely unexpected. I would love to see Gunther and Jey wreak havoc on people and have Jey be a total bad guy, badass. Anyway, you all can tell me what you think. Who knows? We shall see what happens. But in less than 1 week, folks, we will have the very first PLE to debut on the ESPN app. I have no idea how this is going to work, but it's WrestlePalooza coming at you September 20th. 5 o'clock, I think, is a pre-show from Indianapolis, Indiana. 7 o'clock looks like the official start time. These matches look pretty good. I'm actually really looking forward to these matches. We've already talked about it. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. I don't really know how this match is going to go. This could be bad news for Cena because I don't know if it makes sense for Cena to win this match, but I can't. Can anyone see Lesnar coming back to lose? So maybe there's a schmaz. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is a DQ. I really have no idea who's going to win this match. I'm looking forward to it, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Lesnar. The next, we just had this match added on SmackDown. We had Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. This is another weird one because I feel like Drew is feuding with Randy, and then Cody comes back and just interjects and puts himself into it, and I'm just like, what is happening? This feud is kind of all over the place. Cody Rhodes, I know y'all love Cody Rhodes, and his music's awesome, but when he gets in the ring, and I don't know. So there's no way he's going to lose the belt to Drew McIntyre on WrestlePalooza. It's not happening. So Cody Rhodes is going to win. The match I'm looking forward to, well, one of the two matches I'm looking forward to the most. The first one, we already talked about it, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir for the Women's World Championship. I think Io is going to win. She's one of my favorites, and I think these two are going to put on a heck of a match. That's going to be a great match. The Usos versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Hey, if they take my advice and they finish this is going to be a schmaz, and Gunther's going to come back and unite with Jey. But that's probably not going to happen. But if I'm writing it like the WWE writers, I probably will have the Usos go over, and then something will happen at the end. Who knows? I'm not really sure which way this is going to go, but that's how I would book it. I love the idea of Jey and Gunther moving forward. And then the match I'm looking forward to the most, CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. These four are going to crush it. I love what each and every one of these four is bringing to the table. It's fresh. It's new. I don't care what you say about couples wrestling. This is a match I want to see. It's going to be the most fun. I hope it's the last match of the night. Becky's awesome. Seth's awesome. CM Punk's awesome. And super happy to see AJ back. It's going to be great. If I have to pick, I'm clearly going to pick the return of AJ Lee. She will probably pin Becky to win the match, and then they'll kind of split up and do their separate thing. AJ versus Becky for the title, Punk versus Seth for the title, and your story will continue. But I really hope they keep these couples together because the Becky and Seth thing is magic. Great stuff. Can't freaking say enough about how much I love it. Anyway, that will wrap up the tables portion of the program. Bills Mafia, you are up. How the heck are we feeling after a week 2 win over the New Jersey Jets? If you listen to my Game 2 preview, you know that my stress meter was turned up to a 5. Well, by 12 minutes into this game, I could have turned the stress meter off. And the Bills practically ran away with this one. It was not even as close as the 30-10 score would have you believe. It's crazy because we had Ed Oliver out, Johnson was out. We had some big-name defensive players, and they weren't missed at all. Jets get the ball to start. We defer, kick to the Jets. It was an awesome 3-and-out. Milano makes a great play on second down right up the middle. Milano looked awesome in this game. Now, we'll have to see what happened because apparently he got hurt, and hopefully we get some updates on that very quickly, but man, that defense came out with a chip on their shoulder, and they looked awesome. We get the ball, we go down the field, we score a tutty. We're quickly up 7-0. Then we get the ball back. Next thing you know, it's 10-0. And before you know it, halftime, 20-0. I mean, if I have to nitpick, because the defense came to play, if I have to nitpick, I understand what they're doing. Obviously, this was the perfect scenario leading into the short week. We play the Dolphins on Thursday night, so this couldn't have played out any better. But when the game is 10-0, I would have liked to see them put the pedal to the metal. I've talked about it before. You got to go for 40. I know he had 30 without even trying, and I know Josh got to sit the bench in the fourth quarter after his nose was probably broken, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there were some very conservative play calls by our boy Joe Brady. Very conservative. I get it when you're up 20, 23, 27, whatever the hell number they were at one point. And I get it that James Cook had an awesome game, but there were plays that they left on the field, and I wish they would have taken some shots. I just, it's like I said, you got the Lamborghini in the garage. Why don't you freaking take it for a test drive? But I understand. I'm trying to reserve judgment until we actually need to drive the car fast. But clearly the game script dictated that we're just going to keep handing it to Cook, and that's what we did, and he crushed everybody. I mean, the offensive line looked great. Cook looked great. He was very patient. He hit the zone reads effectively. It was really, really no contest. So Joey Bosa was unbelievable. So 2 games into the Joey Bosa experiment, yeah, let's go. Great signing. It could be the signing of the offseason. He comes out with the punch out and causes a huge turnover. He got a sack. It was great. I think if he can stay healthy and he can play well, he is going to be huge for us come playoffs. This is what we need. We need him to be healthy for the playoffs. Keon was solid. I know his numbers didn't reflect it, but the OPI, the offensive pass interference, was weak, in my opinion, weak. The one play that I keep going back to, and this takes me back to the Joe Brady call. We had a third and four, and we run the ball. And Shakir had his first catch with 11 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, and I'm like, what the heck? This was the Shakir game. You're going to have Sauce Gardner on Keon, which is what I called. I knew that was going to happen. Shakir should have been fed the ball 7 to 9 times in this game, and he gets his first catch with 11 minutes in the third quarter. I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, but the 3rd and 4, and we hand it off, and we run with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left, and we settle for a field goal, and I'm like, Joe, that was weak. Don't do that. Don't do that. The linebackers, like I said, Terrell Bernard, Milano, they clearly heard my criticism of them last week, and they came to play. The safeties, the cornerbacks, Christian Benford made an awesome stop. I loved that camera angle showing you the pylon, showing you the first down marker, and how he comes flying out of nowhere to stop the receiver's forward momentum or running back. I can't remember which, but he makes the stop to force 4th down. It was awesome. Just a perfect play. The Jets couldn't do anything. And it's funny. It's funny because Aaron Glenn throws this temper tantrum last week, right? He kicks the kick returner off the team, Xavier Gibson. He kicks him off the team. He's like, this is not acceptable. The standard is not being met. And then what he does, he goes out and lays this stink fest of a game. Well, I'm wondering, going by his own standards, Aaron Glenn should be firing himself because he played like he was scared and he had never been on a football field before. That's how he coached. Not played, excuse me. He coached this game like he was absolutely petrified of the Bills, and it was kind of pathetic. Yeah, the defense, they heard all the complaints. They heard all the national stories about how this team's not gonna do anything if their defense is trash. And apparently Sean McDermott and his willingness to make practice hurt this week really paid off because these guys came out flying. They made tackles. They were disciplined. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. Trey White came back, had a good game. Now the thing is, we gotta stay healthy because I know there's a lot of injuries. We shall see what happens with Milano, but there was no over pursuing last week. Joey Bosa looked terrible, getting tricked by Lamar and over pursuing his angles and not staying in his run lanes and assignments and whatnot. And Milano and Bernard looked terrible because they weren't even paying attention. That was all gone. So we shall see. I hope the defense looks this good. Obviously, if Dorian Williams has to play Thursday, I think we should still be okay because I love his aggressiveness. I think he just needs a little more time, a little more play under his belt, and I think he could be solid as a backup. Yeah, all in all, I mean, could you really ask for a better week 2 matchup? Like I said, I was having watched the Steelers game. Now, maybe the Steelers were overrated because that game was really close. That was a really competitive, close game. The Steelers were probably overrated. And the Jets just were able to do a heck of a lot more things. And then they play this Buffalo team, and it was like, oh, I guess last week was a total joke. So we shall see how they do against the Dolphins. I will try to get my week 3 game preview up Wednesday before that game hits us on Thursday. It's a short week, folks. We got a lot to do, The only other thing I want to talk about from the game, Tony Romo. I used to love listening to Tony Romo on commentary as a color commentator. He is almost unbearable. He's almost to the point now where he's switched with Chris Collinsworth, where everyone hates Chris Collinsworth, but now it's become so, like, Chris Collinsworth is so bad that now it's almost become comical, and he's like your grandpa who has dementia, and now you just like listening to him to see what kind of stupid stuff he says. Tony Romo is on the opposite end. Like, it's getting unbearable to listen to Tony Romo. I'm like, oh my God, this guy, I just don't, I want to have the TV on closed captioning because I can't stand to listen to him anymore. Jim Nantz is doing his thing. The whole Josh Allen injury, by the way, he gets nailed in the face by Clemens and he's gushing blood and he's running off field. Well, Nantz and Romo are acting like Josh Allen is dying on the field. And I'm just like, can we take a break? Can we take a breath here? Like, this is a little too much. Clearly something happened. He got hit in the face. He's bleeding. He's going to be okay. Holy cow. And then Trubisky comes in and slings it right at Sauce Gardner and gets the first down. That was awesome. He has no time to prep, no time to warm up. He comes in and fires a nice, 3rd and 11? And he fires a strike and he picks up 30 yards in the first down with little to no prep time. Amazing. That was awesome. Way to go, Mitch. You earned a star of the game for that one. Yeah, but all in all, easy win. Happy to see that we did well. Let's see what the injury report looks like today and tomorrow and move forward from there. Card enthusiasts, you are up next. How are we feeling? Now, last week I did a deep dive into some of Topps' recent releases and we talked about the absolutely insane prices of some of these products. Well, I have another absolute doozy for you because Topps Chrome Sapphire Baseball came out this week. It hit the stands at a low price of, anyone want to take a guess? How about $900 a box? And you may be thinking, oh, maybe we get like 150, 200 cards of awesome goodness here. No, you get 32 cards. 32 cards. One auto per box. That is $30 a card, folks. $30 a card. So me, I have to do my research. I got to try to know, hey, is this a good value? Because maybe $900, maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe $900 is a great value. Maybe I should check out some of the rips, the breaks, and see what I'm missing out on. So I checked out the old YouTube and dove in and took a look at some of these break videos. So let's do this. These are the top 5 cards that were pulled on a $900 box break of Topps Chrome Sapphire. So here we go. You tell me if this is worth $900. So this is one box, 32 cards. Here are your top 5 cards that are not base cards. You have a Gavin Lux to 50. Anyone Gavin Lux to 50? No? Nobody likes that one? How about Ian Happ to 50? Now, I do know Ian Happ is okay. He's an okay player, but Ian Happ to 50? Anyone want to go for that one? The next in the top 5 was a James Wood rookie base card. Now, I will tell you, James Wood, awesome player for the Nats, having a great rookie year, but this is his base card. It's not even numbered, and it's not even autographed. So there you go. The next one, Jeff McNeil to 25. Anyone? The Flying Squirrel, Mets and Mets fans? How much you want to pay for a Jeff McNeil card to 25? No? Okay. But here is the hit of the box that you paid $900 for. Your autograph, ready for this? A Daniel Schneemann to $199. So you have Gavin Lux, Ian Happ, James Wood, Jeff McNeil, and Daniel Schneemann for $900. Are you kidding me? Well, maybe that was a rough box, so maybe we should look at a second box. So I dove onto another video, and this time I'm actually watching Breakers, and they're commentating as, they're opening this box for someone who paid an ungodly amount of money for this. So the box starts out, the first pack, they get a Manny Machado orange card out of 25. Hey, that's a good start. Machado's a good player. That's a cool card. Not saying it's worth $30, but hey, Machado orange to 25. Great. The next, they pull a redemption card. Now, here's where things get crazy, because you're like, oh, a redemption card. This is going to be great. It's a Matt Shaw orange refractor auto. Matt Shaw? Anyone want to dive into a Matt Shaw? How much you want to pay for a Matt Shaw autograph? He came up at the end of last season. He was terrible. And this season, he's kind of had his ups and downs. He's all right. But is he the future of the Cubs organization? I don't know. He might get traded. But that's the big hit in the box. And so the third card that they went crazy over, a Bradley Blaylock rookie card. This was black to 10. Can anyone even tell me what team Bradley Blaylock plays for? Well, if you didn't guess the Colorado Rockies, you must not be a very in-tuned baseball fan. I consider myself a big fan, and I had no idea who the hell Bradley Blaylock was, but they went so overboard on this. The one guy's like, oh, this is a good box. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? $900 for these cards? And then to end, they get a Colton Cowser. Now, I love Colton Cowser on the Orioles. A gold Colton Cowser to 50. So there you go, another 900. Well, that's round two. Let's do one more box. Like, for the purposes of, I like to do research. I like to see maybe these two boxes were fluky. So let's look at a third box. So I couldn't even get 5 cards out of this box. They had a Kumar Rocker gold card to 50. Okay, fine, whatever. Their auto in this box was a Michael McGreevy to 99. Anyone know who the hell that is? Nope. I didn't think so. The best card in the whole all the videos I watched. Now, this was a good card, but it wasn't an auto. It was a Paul Skeens Gold Cup card to 25. Are you telling me that this Paul Skeens non-autoed Sapphire Topps Chrome Sapphire card is worth $900? What the heck are we paying for, people? It's insane. It's insane. Now, having said that, I am not going to be buying this product. That's absolutely crazy. In previous episodes, we have talked about Topps Chrome Baseball. I talked about how the checklist was terrible and the prices were through the roof. Well, good news for all of you waiting to jump on board the Topps Chrome Baseball. The prices have come down. The hobby box has dropped from $300 to $210. Now, we're getting closer. Do I still think that's overpriced? Yeah, but you drop that down to $150, $175. Okay, now we're talking. At least for the checklist and the hits that you're going to get out of Topps Chrome for the 2025 season. Yeah, those prices and those boxes, those were terrible. Every store I go in, I see Topps Chrome Baseball. It is sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. At some point, Topps is going to have to buy back all this product, and they're going to realize, well, we screwed this one up big time, because no one is touching this. No one. Every video I've seen, every article I read, every post, every Reddit thread says Topps Chrome Baseball is absolute garbage this year. So now you're starting to see the prices drop. What else is happening? Panini Donruss Football is scheduled to be released tomorrow. This is a 400 card base set. You have 300 cards of that base set are vets and legends, and another 100 rated rookies. You get 180 cards in a hobby box. Right now, that hobby box, now Panini doesn't. Here we go again with these card sites, guys. These companies, these card sites are terrible. They just don't tell you how much anything is ever going to cost until it's actually live and the sale is starting. It drives me crazy. But secondary markets, I know Blowout Cards had this listed for $4.99. So I'm expecting Panini tomorrow, when it releases at noon or 1 o'clock or whenever it releases, it's probably going to come in right around $500. You are guaranteed one auto, one memorabilia card per hobby box. You're guaranteed 18 rated rookies and 12 parallels. Now, I do like some of these cards. I know you can laugh at me if you want, but I love the Bomb Squad parallels, the inserts, the Bomb Squad inserts. Those are cool. I really like those cards. And of course, this is the product where you will find the downtowns that everyone seems to covet and chase. And these are your big hits. So I would love to get a box of this, but for $500, yeah, I don't know. I have been buying a lot of singles lately. I've been having a lot of fun trying to work on my Keon Coleman PC collection. And I didn't think I would ever like these cards, but Topps came out with their Midnight Football release probably a month or two ago, and I have been trying to pick up numbered Keon Coleman inserts. One is the Midnight Nightball card. The backdrop is awesome. I know these are unlicensed and there's no logos or anything on there, but I love the artwork of this. He's like running out of the woods and there's mountains and a moon in the background. I love the look of this card. And then I also was able to pick up a graded SGC10 2024 Topps Midnight Moonfall card, also of Keon Coleman. And these are both rookies. And I think I paid like $10 for this thing. It's like, yeah, sure. I will absolutely take those cards. I'm trying to find stuff that doesn't completely break the bank. When I collect, I want to collect cards that just look cool. I don't really have too much concern with, well, how much is this card worth, or what's the long-term investment. The reason I got back into collecting was to get stuff I like, to get stuff I think looks cool, and to get stuff that I'm going to want to look at in a year or two down the line. And I have certain players I like. I'm really trying to fill out my Bills card collection, and Keon is a good place to start. What else? Let's finish the show with my If Money Were No Object buy of the week, because I missed it last week and I don't have the $350 million required to buy WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. So we're going to dive into purchasing something in the card world. This is what I found. I went on the eBay machine and I'm trying to get some Josh Allen cards in my collection. So here you go, folks. A 2018 Donruss Optic Honors card. This is a Josh Allen PSA 10. This is a rookie. It's a gold vinyl. This is a 1/1 PSA 10 gem mint. Any guesses on how much we're going to drop on this card? Because if money were no object, this puppy's coming into our collection. It is for the low price of $150,000 or best offer. So what do you think? What should we offer? Should we offer $149? I mean, $150K. $150K. Yeah. I love J17, but I don't think I can drop $150K on this awesome card. It does look cool. I would love to add it to the collection, but the only way I'm doing this is if money were truly no object. Well, there you have it, folks. That is going to be the show for today. I really appreciate you all stopping in to check out the 3Ts. If you have enjoyed this episode or any other episode of the podcast, do me a favor, share it with someone you know, whether they are a fellow Mafia member, a avid card collector, or someone who loves professional wrestling. Help me out. Help me grow this thing one episode at a time. Share it with someone you know. Hit that follow. Leave me a quick review anywhere you podcast. Help me build this thing together. And I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.